Nina, the kitten learns patience. Have you ever met a kitten who wanted everything right now? Well, let me introduce you to Nina. She was a tiny ball of ginger fluff with enormous green eyes and a tail that twitched with endless energy. From the moment she woke up, Nina was a whirlwind of wants. She wanted her breakfast immediately. She wanted to play with the feather wand this very second, and she wanted to chase the little red dot from the laser pointer yesterday. Patience was a word Nina simply didn't understand. One sunny morning, Nina's human, a kind lady named Clara, brought home a new toy. It wasn't a jingly ball or a crinkly mouse. It was a puzzle box. Inside, Clara placed Nina's favorite crunchy treats. Nina could smell them. Oh yes! Her nose twitched, her whiskers quivered, and she pounced. She pawed at the box. She bit the corners. She even tried to shove her whole head into the little openings. But the treats stayed stubbornly inside. Nina meowed, a loud, frustrated meow. Why wasn't it working? She wanted those treats now? She gave the box a final, angry swat and stalked off, her tail held high in indignation. Clara just smiled and left the box on the floor. Later that day, after a long nap and a sunbeam, Nina approached the box again. This time, she was calmer. Her frantic energy had faded, replaced by a gentle curiosity.
She sniffed at the openings,
then tentatively pushed a paw into one of the slots.
something inside moved. A little lever?
Her paw nudged it, and a tiny door on the side of the box clicked open. And there it was, a single, delicious treat. Nina crunched it happily. It tasted so much better than the treats she usually got right away. Feeling encouraged, she went back to work. She discovered another lever, and then a little wheel she had to spin. Each new puzzle she solved took time and focus. She wasn't a whirlwind anymore. She was a detective, carefully figuring out the mystery of the box. With each click and slide, another treat would appear. It wasn't fast, and it wasn't easy, but it was incredibly rewarding. She found herself actually enjoying the process, the challenge of it all. The next morning, when Clara was preparing her breakfast, Nina didn't yowl and trip her up like she usually did. Instead, she sat quietly by her bowl, watching Clara with her big green eyes, her tail giving a slow, happy wave. She knew her breakfast was coming, and she knew it would be worth the wait. Clara was amazed. She knelt down and stroked Nina's soft fur. "Well, look at you, my patient little kitten," she whispered. Nina had discovered a secret. The best things in life, like a hard-earned treat or a warm cuddle after a long day of play, weren't always the things you got instantly. Sometimes, the waiting, the trying, and the anticipation made them even sweeter. She was still a playful, energetic kitten, of course. She still loved chasing the red dot with wild abandon. But now, she also knew the quiet joy of patience. And she knew that some treasures are only found when you're willing to take your time to unlock them. So, if you ever feel impatient, just think of Nina and her puzzle box. Good things come to those who wait and learn and grow. Thanks for watching our little story today. If you loved meeting Nina, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures. See you next time. The Cozy Train to Dreamland. Hello, and welcome aboard the Cozy Train to Dreamland. Find a comfortable seat, perhaps by the window, and let's get ready for a peaceful journey together. Can you feel the gentle sway of the carriage? It's a rhythmic, soothing motion, designed to lull you into a state of deep relaxation. Just allow your body to sink into your seat, feeling supported and safe. The lights inside our carriage are soft and warm, casting a gentle, golden glow. Outside the window, the world is a beautiful blur of twilight colors. Deep purples and soft oranges paint the sky as the sun says goodnight. Watch as the occasional light from a distant farmhouse twinkles like a fallen star before fading back into the darkness. There's nothing out there that needs your attention right now. All that matters is this moment, right here, on this train. Listen to the gentle sounds of our journey. The soft, steady click-clack of the wheels on the track. A constant, reassuring rhythm. Clack-clack. It's like a lullaby just for you. There's also a low, comforting hum from the engine. A sound of steady progress, carrying you forward to a place of rest. These sounds are your companions tonight, wrapping around you like a warm blanket. Now, let's bring your attention to your breath. With each gentle sway of the train, take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs with calm. And as the train sways back, breathe out, releasing any tension you might be holding on to. In and out. Feel how your shoulders drop a little lower with each exhale. Your jaw unclenches. The tiny muscles around your eyes begin to soften. You are letting go. Imagine you're wrapped in the softest, plushest blanket you can think of. It's warm and has a comforting weight to it. It covers you from your toes to your shoulders, making you feel secure and snug. Every part of your body that it touches instantly relaxes. Feel the warmth spreading through your feet, up your legs, and into your hips. Your entire lower body feels heavy and wonderfully still. The warmth continues to travel up your spine, soothing every muscle along the way. It flows into your stomach, your chest, and across your shoulders. Your arms feel heavy and relaxed at your sides. The warmth moves up into your neck, releasing any tightness. And finally, it cradles your head. You are completely and totally relaxed, drifting peacefully. Our train is now gliding through a quiet, moonlit forest. The silvery light of the full moon filters through the tall, ancient trees, creating magical patterns of light and shadow on the carriage floor. The air smells fresh and clean, like damp earth and pine needles after a gentle rain. It's a scent that cleanses the mind and soothes the soul. You are safe here, protected by the peaceful woods. We are approaching our destination, the station of deep, restorative sleep. The click-clack of the wheels is getting softer, the motion of the train even gentler. Your eyelids feel heavy, ready to close. Don't fight it. Allow them to drift shut whenever they're ready. The journey is almost over. You've done everything you need to do for today. Now is your time to rest, to recharge, to dream. As the train glides silently into the station, know that you are arriving at a place of perfect peace. A comfortable bed is waiting just for you. Thank you for traveling on the cozy train to dreamland. Sleep well, and may your dreams be as beautiful and peaceful as this journey. Good night. The softest dragon in the forest. In a deep, forgotten part of the world, nestled within a sun-dappled forest, lived a dragon named Barnaby. Now, when you picture a dragon, you probably imagine something huge and scaly, with teeth like daggers and smoke curling from its nostrils. But Barnaby wasn't like that at all. Instead of scales, he was covered in the softest, fluffiest, moss-green fur you could ever imagine. His horns were smooth and velvety, and when he breathed out, it wasn't fire, but a gentle puff of warm air that smelled like cinnamon and old books. Barnaby loved his peaceful life. He spent his days napping in patches of sunlight, his big fluffy tail twitching in his dreams. He'd snack on wild berries, carefully plucking them from bushes with his surprisingly delicate claws. His favorite pastime was collecting smooth, colorful river stones and arranging them into beautiful patterns outside his cozy cave. He was a gentle soul, a quiet guardian of his little corner of the forest. The other animals, from the tiniest field mice to the grumpy badgers, knew Barnaby was different. They weren't afraid of him. In fact, the younger animals often used his slumbering, fluffy belly as a bouncy castle, and he never minded one bit. But one day, a shadow fell over the forest. A real dragon, a fearsome beast named Ignis, arrived with a roar that shook the leaves from the trees. Ignis was everything Barnaby was not. Enormous, covered in jagged black scales, with eyes that burned like embers and a temper just as hot. He claimed the forest as his own, declaring that all its treasures, from the juiciest berries to the shiniest stones, now belonged to him. The animals trembled in fear. They had never known anything but peace, and now this terrifying creature had shattered it. The forest creatures, desperate and scared, went to Barnaby. "You're a dragon," a little squirrel chattered, his tail twitching nervously. "You have to fight him. You have to save us." Barnaby's fluffy ears drooped. Fight. He wouldn't even know how to begin. The thought of roaring and breathing fire was completely alien to him. He was a collector of stones, a professional napper, not a warrior, he tried to explain, his voice a soft rumble, that he wasn't that kind of dragon. But seeing the fearful eyes of his friends, he knew he had to do something. He couldn't let them down. Taking a deep breath, Barnaby padded out of his cave and walked towards the clearing where Ignis was loudly boasting of his power. As Barnaby approached, Ignis let out a derisive snort of laughter. "What is this?" he boomed. "A walking pillow, a fuzzy green mistake?" "You call yourself a dragon." Barnaby's heart pounded, but he stood his ground. He didn't roar back. He didn't try to look fierce. Instead, he did the only thing he knew how to do. He spoke softly. "This is my home," he said, his voice gentle but firm. "And these are my friends. You are welcome to stay, but you must share. You must be kind." Ignis just laughed harder, and to prove his point, he unleashed a torrent of fire at a nearby ancient oak tree. The flames licked at the bark, and the animals cried out in despair. But then, something amazing happened. Barnaby, without a second thought, ran and threw himself in front of the tree, shielding it with his body. He squeezed his eyes shut, bracing for the searing pain. But it never came. His fur, it turned out, was not only incredibly soft, but also completely fireproof. It simply sizzled a little, smelling faintly of toasted marshmallows. Ignis stopped, his jaw dropping in disbelief. He had never seen anything like it. He shot another jet of fire, and another. Each time, Barnaby simply absorbed the flames, his fluffy coat protecting everything behind him. He wasn't fighting back, he was just enduring. He was protecting. Ignis, exhausted and utterly confused, finally stopped. He looked at the small, fluffy dragon, who was now covered in soot, but otherwise unharmed. He looked at the terrified animals hiding behind him. For the first time, Ignis saw not weakness, but a different kind of strength. A quiet, unshakable strength. From that day on, the forest changed. Ignis, humbled and intrigued by Barnabas's courage, decided to stay. But he wasn't a tyrant anymore. Barnaby taught him that there was more to life than roaring and hoarding. He showed him the simple joy of finding a perfectly smooth stone, the warmth of the sun on your back, and the quiet comfort of friendship. Ignis learned to control his fire, using it only to warm the forest on cold nights, or to roast berries to perfection. The two dragons, one hard and scaly, the other soft and fluffy, became the unlikeliest of friends. And they proved that true strength isn't about how much fire you can breathe, but how much warmth you can share. The forest was safer and happier than ever before. All thanks to the courage of the softest dragon in the forest. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed Barnabas' story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tailies from magical places. See you next time. Oliver the bunny, who hated mornings, in a cozy little burrow, deep in a meadow filled with wildflowers, lived a bunny named Oliver. Now, Oliver was a wonderful bunny in almost every way. He was kind, he was funny, and he could wiggle his nose faster than anyone in the entire meadow. But Oliver had a secret. He hated mornings. Absolutely, positively detested them. While all the other bunnies were hopping out of their burrows at the first light of dawn, excited for a day of nibbling fresh clover and playing leapfrog, Oliver would be buried deep under his leafy blanket, with his paws over his ears. The cheerful chirping of the morning birds sounded like a loud, annoying alarm clock to him. The warm, golden rays of the sun felt like a spotlight, demanding he get up and be productive. Just 5 more minutes! He'd mumble into his pillow, a pillow that was usually a very soft, round mushroom. One morning, the familiar sounds of his friends, Lily and Pip, echoed from outside his burrow. "Oliver, come on out!" "The dew is perfect for sliding down the big leaf," Oliver just groaned. Mornings were for sleeping, not for sliding. But his friends were persistent. Finally, with a great big sigh that ruffled his whiskers, he dragged himself out of his cozy bed and blinked in the bright morning light. "What's so great about mornings, anyway?" he grumbled, rubbing his eyes. Lily, who was bouncing with energy, giggled. "Everything! Silly! The air is fresh, the world is quiet, and you get to see the sunrise." Oliver just shrugged. He'd seen plenty of sunsets, which were much better because they meant bedtime was near. Determined to show him the magic of the morning, Pip led him to a patch of spiderwebs strung between blades of grass. Each strand was decorated with tiny dewdrops, and as the sun rose higher, they glittered like a million tiny diamonds. Oliver had never noticed that before. He'd always been too busy being grumpy. Next, Lily took him to the edge of the pond. The water was perfectly still, like a mirror reflecting the pink and orange clouds. A family of ducks glided silently across the surface, leaving gentle ripples behind them. It was so peaceful, so different from the bustling afternoons he was used to. He watched, mesmerized, as a dragonfly with shimmering wings landed on a reed right in front of him. As the morning went on, Oliver discovered more and more little wonders he had been missing. He saw the first buttercup of the season open its petals to the sun. He heard the gentle hum of the bees as they started their day's work, collecting nectar. He even tasted the sweetest, juiciest strawberry he'd ever had, still cool from the morning air. By the time the sun was high in the sky, Oliver wasn't grumpy anymore. He was smiling. He had slid down the big dewy leaf with Lily and Pip, and he had to admit, it was a lot of fun. "You were right," he said to his friends, taking a happy little hop. "Mornings aren't so bad after all. They're actually kind of beautiful." From that day on, Oliver wasn't the bunny who hated mornings. Sometimes he still enjoyed a little snooze, but more often than not, you could find him out at dawn, watching the world wake up with a smile on his face. He learned that every part of the day has its own special magic. You just have to be awake to see it. And so, Oliver the bunny discovered that a day full of joy can start with a simple sunrise, a few good friends, and an open heart. Thank you for joining us for this story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe for more adventures from the meadow. See you next time. In a world that's always rushing, have you ever felt the pressure to keep up? To be faster, to do more, to never slow down? It's a feeling we all know. But today, I want to share a story about someone who teaches us a different way, a more peaceful way. Let us dive into the wonderful world of Theo the turtle and discover the power of taking your time. In the bustling sunny meadow, everyone was always in a hurry. The bunnies zipped by in a flash, the squirrels scurried up trees like lightning, and even the bees buzzed from flower to flower with urgent speed. And then there was Theo. Theo, the turtle was, well, a turtle. He moved slowly, deliberately, and always at his own unhurried pace. His friends would often tease him. "Theo, you'll miss all the fun," chirped Pip the sparrow. "The ripest berries will be gone by the time you get there." Squeaked Squeaky the squirrel. Theo would just smile his gentle turtle smile and say, "I'll get there when I get there, and I'll enjoy the journey along the way." One bright morning, the annual Great Meadow Race was announced. The grand prize was a basket of the most delicious, sun-ripened strawberries, a treat everyone desired. All the fast animals immediately signed up. Ricky the rabbit, known for his incredible speed, was the clear favorite. Even Theo, to everyone's surprise, decided to join. The other animals laughed. "Theo, a race? This will be hilarious," they chattered. But Theo wasn't racing to win. He was racing to show them something. The race began with a loud ready, set, go. As expected, Ricky the rabbit shot off like an arrow, leaving everyone in a cloud of dust. The other animals scrambled to keep up. And Theo, he took his first slow, steady step after everyone else was already a blur in the distance. He wasn't bothered. He ambled along, noticing the vibrant colors of the wildflowers he'd never seen before. He watched a family of ladybugs marching in a neat line on a leaf. He even stopped to help a little ant who had dropped a crumb much too big for him. Meanwhile, far ahead, the race was a chaotic mess. Ricky the rabbit, in his haste, didn't see a slippery patch of mud and went skidding into a thicket of thorns. Squeaky the squirrel, trying to take a shortcut, got his fluffy tail stuck in a branch. The other animals, all trying to be the fastest, kept getting in each other's way, tripping and tumbling. They were so focused on the finish line that they didn't pay attention to the path right in front of them. Slowly but surely, Theo continued his journey. He greeted the grumpy badger, who, surprised by the friendly hello, actually smiled back. He discovered a hidden spring with the clearest, coolest water he had ever tasted. He wasn't just moving through the meadow. He was experiencing it, living it. Eventually, he came across his friends, all tangled, stuck, or exhausted. Ricky was still trying to untangle himself from the thorns, and Squeaky was wiggling helplessly. Theo didn't say "I told you so." He simply went to work. With his slow, careful movements, he helped Ricky get free from the thorns without a single extra scratch. Then, he gently helped Squeaky wiggle his tail loose from the branch. One by one, he helped all his friends who had rushed and stumbled. They were amazed. By taking his time, Theo was able to see the problems clearly and solve them calmly. Together, the group finally made their way to the finish line. The delicious strawberries were still there, waiting, but nobody rushed to grab them. They looked at Theo with new respect. Ricky the rabbit was the first to speak. "Theo," he said, "I was so focused on winning that I missed everything."
You didn't win the race, but you won the day.
They all agreed. They decided to share the strawberries. And you know what? They tasted even sweeter when enjoyed together, slowly savoring each bite. From that day on, Sunny Meadow was a little different. The animals still played and worked, but they learned from Theo that there's no shame in slowing down. Sometimes, the most beautiful moments in life are the ones we almost miss by rushing past them. Theo, the turtle, taught them, and us, that life isn't just about the destination. It's about enjoying the journey, one slow, happy step at a time. So next time you feel rushed, remember Theo, take a deep breath, slow down, and see what wonders you might find. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Theo's story. If it resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tailies that warm the heart. See you next time. Pip the little star and the fear of darkness. Way up high in the vast, velvety sky lived a tiny star named Pip. Pip was just like all the other stars, sparkly and bright, but he had a secret. He was afraid of the dark. Now, you might think that's silly for a star whose very job is to shine in the darkness, but Pip's fear was very real. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the world was painted in shades of deep blue and purple, a little shiver would run through Pip. He tried to hide behind the big, fluffy clouds, hoping no one would notice him trembling. The other stars would twinkle and dance, creating beautiful constellations. "Come on, Pip!" they'd call. "Come play connect the dots with us!" But Pip would just peek out, his light flickering nervously. The darkness felt so big and empty to him. What if he got lost? What if his light went out and no one could find him? These worries would swirl in his little star mind, making his light dim even more. One night, Luna, the wise old moon, noticed Pip hiding behind a wisp of a cloud. Her gentle, silvery light washed over him. "Little star," she said, in a voice as soft as moonbeams, "why do you hide? Your light is so beautiful." Pip shuffled his star points. "I'm scared of the dark, Luna," he whispered. "It's so dark." Luna smiled kindly. "But, my dear Pip," she said, "it is only in the darkness that your true purpose can be seen. It is because of the dark that your light can travel so far and bring comfort to the world below." She then told Pip to look down. "Really look at the earth." Pip peered over the edge of his cloud. He saw tiny houses with warm, glowing windows. He saw a little girl in her bedroom, looking out her window, her face filled with wonder as she gazed at the night sky. "See?" Luna said softly. "They are looking at you. Your light makes them feel safe. It reminds them that even in the quiet of the night, they are not alone." Pip watched the little girl point up at the sky, her finger aimed right at him. A strange, warm feeling spread through him. His light wasn't just for him. It was for others. The darkness wasn't something to be afraid of. It was the canvas upon which he could paint his light. He took a deep breath, and for the first time, he pushed himself away from the cloud. He let his light shine, not timidly, but with all his might. He joined the other stars, and his light was the brightest of all. He wasn't just a star anymore. He was a beacon of hope, a tiny spark of courage in the vast, beautiful night. And Pip realized that sometimes, the things we are most afraid of are the very things that help us discover our own strength and purpose. From that night on, Pip loved the darkness, because he knew it was his time to shine. So if you ever feel a little scared of the dark, just look up at the sky. Find the brightest, most cheerful star you can see. That might just be Pip winking down at you. Thanks for listening to our story today. Don't forget to subscribe for more adventures. When toys come to life. Have you ever wondered what your toys get up to when you're not around? We all grew up with movies that showed toys having secret lives, epic adventures, and hilarious mishaps the moment we closed the bedroom door. But what if that wasn't just a story? What if, in some strange, wonderful way, our toys really did come to life? Let's imagine it for a second. Your old, forgotten teddy bear, the one with the button eye, isn't just collecting dust. He's the wise old leader of the toy community, sharing stories of the good old days when he was your #1 cuddle buddy. The action figures you meticulously lined up on your shelf. They're not just standing there. They're a highly trained special ops team, conducting nightly patrols to make sure no rogue socks get lost under the bed, and the monster in the closet stays put. Think about the drama. The beautiful doll in the corner, who you thought was so prim and proper, might be a secret agent, gathering intel on the family cat, the notorious fluffball of chaos. And the race cars? They're not just sitting in their box. Every night, they turn your floor into the Monaco Grand Prix, with Lego bricks as the cheering crowds. The competition is fierce, the rivalries are real, and the bragging rights are everything. It's fun to think about the hierarchies and societies they'd form. Maybe the board game pieces are the intellectuals, always debating strategy and philosophy. The building blocks are the architects and engineers, constantly redesigning their city and arguing over structural integrity. The stuffed animals are the heart of the community, offering comfort and warm hugs after a long night of adventures. But what would they think about us? Their owners, they'd probably share stories about our day. They'd celebrate our little victories. Like when we finally learned to tie our shoes or got a good grade on a test. They'd probably worry when we were sad or sick, wishing they could do more than just sit there and be a toy. They are our silent companions, our first friends, and the keepers of our childhood secrets. Maybe this is why we feel such a strong connection to our favorite toys, even long after we've outgrown them. They're not just plastic and stuffing. They're vessels for our imagination and our memories. They represent a time of innocence, creativity, and pure, simple joy. The idea that they have a life of their own is a beautiful way of keeping that magic alive. Perhaps the real magic isn't whether they actually move and talk when we're not looking. The magic is in our ability to believe they can. It's in the stories we create for them, the personalities we give them, and the love we pour into them. They come to life inside our own minds, and that's a power no one can ever take away. So, next time you see an old toy, give it a little smile. Maybe even a wink. You never know what adventures it's been on. What do you think your toys would do if they came to life? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys into the imagination. See you next time. Milo, the mouse, finds his confidence. Once upon a time, in a cozy little burrow tucked beneath the roots of a giant oak tree, lived a tiny mouse named Milo. Milo was a sweet mouse with soft gray fur and big, curious eyes. But Milo had a little problem. He was very, very shy. Whenever the other field mice would gather to play games like acorn toss or berry, Milo would watch from a distance, his little heart thumping like a drum. He wanted to join in. Oh, how he wanted to. But his paws would feel stuck to the ground, and his voice would get lost somewhere in his throat. One sunny morning, the wise old owl, Professor Hoot, announced the annual Forest Talent Show. All the animals were buzzing with excitement. Beatrice, the beaver, was going to build an incredible dam in record time. Sammy, the squirrel, was going to perform his famous high-flying acrobatics from branch to branch. And the Finch sisters were preparing a beautiful harmony. Everyone had something special to share. Except, Milo thought, for him. What could a tiny, shy mouse possibly do? He whispered to his reflection in a dewdrop. He felt smaller than ever. That afternoon, feeling a little sad, Milo wandered into a quiet part of the meadow filled with colorful wildflowers. He noticed a beautiful, smooth stone. A perfect skipping stone. All by himself, with no one watching. He picked it up.
He remembered watching the other mice skip stones across the pond.
He took a deep breath, just like he'd seen them do, and gave the stone a little flick of his wrist. Plink, plink, plink. It skipped 3 times before sinking. A tiny smile appeared on Milo's face. He tried again. Plink, 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 plunk. 4 times. He spent the whole afternoon practicing, and soon he was skipping stones 5, 6, even 7 times. He was so focused on the dance of the stones on the water, he completely forgot to be shy. He was just having fun. Later that day, Professor Hoot happened to be flying by and saw Milo. He didn't see a shy little mouse. He saw a mouse who was focused, determined, and incredibly good at skipping stones. He landed softly on a branch nearby. Milo, he hooted gently.
That is a remarkable talent you have there.
The way you make those stones dance on the water is quite a sight to behold.
Milo froze, his shyness rushing back.
He just squeaked a tiny hello.
Professor Hoot continued.
A talent isn't about being the loudest or the fastest. It's about sharing a little piece of what makes you happy. And it looks like skipping stones makes you very happy. Milo thought about the owl's words all night. Could his little hobby really be a talent? It wasn't as flashy as acrobatics or as grand as building a dam, but it was his. It was something he was good at, something he enjoyed. The next day, with his heart thumping, he scurried over to the sign-up sheet for the talent show.
He took a deep, shaky breath and wrote his name in tiny, neat letters. Milo, stone skipper.
When it was his turn at the talent show, Milo's paws trembled as he walked to the edge of the pond.
All the forest animals were watching. He took a deep breath, just like he did in the quiet meadow.
He picked up his favorite smooth stone, closed his eyes for a second, and thought about the fun he had practicing. He flicked his wrist.
Brink, 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 brink. A perfect 7 skips!
The crowd gasped, then burst into applause.
Milo's cheeks turned pink, but this time, it was from pride. He did it again, and again, each time with more confidence. He wasn't just a shy little mouse anymore. He was Milo, the amazing stone skipper.
And he had learned that everyone has a special talent, and the bravest thing you can do is share it with the world.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. Bye-bye.
Luna.
The cloud sheep. Have you ever looked up at the sky and seen a cloud that looks just like an animal? A fluffy dog? Maybe a soaring dragon? Or even a giant, puffy sheep?
Well, today, I want to tell you a story about one of those clouds.
This is the tale of Luna, the cloud sheep.
Luna wasn't just any cloud.
She was born from the gentlest morning mist and the last ray of a setting sun, which gave her wool a beautiful, pearly shimmer. Unlike the other clouds that drifted aimlessly, pushed and pulled by the wind, Luna had a curious heart.
She loved to watch the world below.
From her high perch in the vast blue ocean of the sky, she saw tiny houses, winding rivers that sparkled like silver ribbons, and forests that looked like patches of green velvet. Every day, Luna would float above a small, quiet town. She watched children play in the parks, their laughter floating up to her like tiny, happy bubbles. She saw farmers working in their fields, tending to their crops with care. She particularly loved watching the real sheep in the meadows. They looked like little bits of herself, scattered across the green earth. But Luna noticed something. Sometimes, the children would look sad. Sometimes, the farmers would look worried, gazing up at the sky with anxious eyes. One summer, the sun burned hotter and brighter than ever before. Days turned into weeks, and not a single drop of rain fell. The green fields turned yellow, the rivers shrank, and the flowers in the gardens drooped their heads. The children stopped playing outside, and the farmers' happy songs were replaced by worried whispers. Luna felt a pang in her misty heart. She saw the town's well getting lower and lower, and the real sheep looking thirsty and tired. The other clouds didn't seem to care. They were thin and wispy, content to just float by. "There's nothing we can do," they would murmur. "We just go where the wind takes us." But Luna was different. She remembered the laughter of the children and the songs of the farmers. She couldn't just float by and do nothing. So, Luna made a brave decision. She started to gather all the tiny bits of moisture she could find.
She flew into every wisp of morning fog, collected every speck of evening dew.
Slowly, she began to grow. She became bigger and heavier, and her pearly white wool turned into a deep, heavy gray. The other clouds drifted away from her, You're too heavy, Luna, they warned. The wind won't be able to carry you. Luna didn't listen. She was determined. She positioned herself right above the little town. Looking down one last time, she saw a little girl pointing up at her, a hopeful look in her eyes. That was all the encouragement Luna needed. She took a deep, cloudy breath and let go. At first it was just a single drop. Then another and another. Soon, a gentle, steady rain began to fall. It wasn't a harsh storm, but a soft, life-giving shower. The rain kissed the thirsty ground, filled the rivers, and washed the dust from the leaves. The flowers lifted their heads, and the fields began to drink in the precious water. The children ran outside, splashing in the puddles and dancing with joy. The farmers looked up at the sky, tears of gratitude mixing with the raindrops on their faces. Luna gave all she had. As the rain fell, she became smaller and smaller, lighter and lighter. Her deep gray faded back to a soft, translucent white. By the time the sun peeked out again, painting a brilliant rainbow across the sky, Luna was just a tiny, see-through wisp. She was tired, but her heart was full. She had made a difference. So, the next time you see a puffy cloud that looks like a sheep, think of Luna. Remember that even the smallest among us can have the biggest heart, and that a single act of kindness can bring rain to a thirsty world. Thanks for watching this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tailies from the sky. See you next time! Benny, the bear! Deep in a sunny, green forest lived a young bear named Benny. Benny was a happy little bear, but he had one tiny problem. He didn't like to share. Not his shiny red ball, not his sweet honey snacks, and definitely not his big, comfy storybook. One bright morning, Benny was playing by the sparkling river with his favorite new toy, a colorful spinning top. It whizzed and whirled, making pretty patterns on the ground. Soon, his friends came along. First was Lily the rabbit, with her long, twitching ears. "Wow, Benny," she said, "that top is amazing. Can I have a turn?" Benny hugged the top tightly. "No, it's mine," he grumbled. Next, Sammy the squirrel scampered down from a tall oak tree. His bushy tail flipped with excitement. "Golly, Benny, that's the fastest top I've ever seen. Please, can I try?" Again, Benny shook his furry head. "Nope, only I can play with it." Feeling a little sad, Lily and Sammy went to play by the berry bushes instead. Benny continued to play with his spinning top, but something felt different. The top still whizzed and whirled, but it wasn't as much fun anymore. He looked over at his friends. Lily and Sammy were laughing, pretending the red berries were tiny jewels. It looked like they were having a wonderful time. Benny looked down at his spinning top. It was just a quiet toy now. He felt a strange pang in his chest. It was loneliness. He realized that having the best toy in the forest wasn't any fun if you had no one to share it with. Taking a deep breath, Benny picked up his top and padded over to his friends. "Hey," he said softly. Do you want to play with my top?" Lily and Sammy's faces lit up. "Really, Benny?" asked Lily. Benny nodded, a small smile appearing on his face.
Yes? Really?
He showed Sammy how to pull the string to make it spin super fast. He and Lily clapped and cheered as the top danced across a flat stone. Then, Lily showed Benny her berry jewel game. They took turns, spinning the top, finding buried treasures, and laughing until their bellies ached. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Benny felt a warmth inside him that had nothing to do with the sunshine. It was the warmth of friendship. He had shared his toy, and in return, he got something even better. Shared laughter and shared joy. From that day on, Benny became the best sharer in the whole forest. He learned that sharing didn't mean you had less. It meant you had more fun, more friends, and more happy memories. And that, he decided, was the best treasure of all. I hope you enjoyed the story of Benny the Bear. Remember, sharing with your friends can make playtime even more special. If you liked our story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more fun adventures. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.